All right, welcome. So this video is healing the addicted brain. I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can actually overcome not just the addiction itself, but heal your brain from the addiction, and so that you can transform your life, transform your identity, and just transform your experience without said substance or addictive habit. For those of you guys who want to progress on your self-improvement journey, or you just want to increase your performance in your sport or in creating your business, you can go ahead and click the first or second link in the description. It'll take you to my Instagram page. You can send me a DM over there, and we can have a discussion on what it would look like to work one-on-one. I help people to increase their performance in their sport or business or just everyday life through holistic self-improvement practices. So you can go ahead and click the link to my Instagram if you want to DM me and discuss that. But without further ado, how to stop suffering over your addiction. So this is the first section, how to stop suffering over your addiction. See, this is the biggest problem a lot of people have when quitting, is that the pain and the discomfort doesn't just magically go away as soon as you quit. There is a phase or a period of time where your transition from being addicted to having a healthy brain and a stable mindset, stable hormones, stable neurotransmitters, everything getting back to homeostasis. That period of time is very difficult for a lot of people. That's where you have a lot of cravings. That's where you experience a lot of the withdrawals, is through this period of time from being fully addicted to being able to live life and be 100% satisfied without said addiction. So how do we actually stop suffering over the addiction? And the main thing here is to realize that the addiction is gone, right? You have cut the addiction out. If you haven't, that is your first step. But once you've gotten that far, the addiction is gone, right? It's done. You're done doing said thing. You're done smoking the weed. You're done drinking the alcohol. You're done eating the junk food. You're done playing the video game. Whatever it is, you're done. So what has to happen is now you have to fill the place of that thing, right? You have to put something else in its place. And the way that I did this was to replace my addiction with my business, right? Because that was the main thing that the addiction blocked me from, was my business. So the obvious course of action was to replace that time, that attention, because it's something you'd think about all the time. You replace that with something productive. So for me, it was my business, right? I replaced smoking weed, watching porn. I replaced video games, junk food, watching social media and scrolling. I replaced all of these things with my business, right? And it sounds like a lot to replace so many different habits with one habit. But once you're not addicted, it's easier to focus on one thing for a longer period of time, which means it's easier for me to take up the same amount of time with one thing than it would have been before, because of the fact that I'm not so addicted to what I'm doing. Let's say it's weed, let's say it's watching social media videos. Regardless, your attention span gets lowered and your ability to stay engaged with things gets lowered. So it's actually more difficult to fill as much time with one productive habit. When you're no longer addicted, it's easier to fill, 5, 6, even 8 hours a day with one thing, one specific thing that you enjoy, that you like doing. So for me, I like creating content, so that's what I fill my time with. And this is the way that we stop suffering, is by not focusing on the suffering, not focusing on the recovery, not focusing on the addiction that was now lost and removed, right? Even though it's not really a loss, but it feels like it for those who are addicted. We don't focus on this, but we focus instead onto what we want to build next, what we want to do next, right? If we want to create a business, if we want to become an athlete, well, what are the steps to then doing that? And what are we going to be able to do to align ourselves more with that path than the path of the addict or even the ex-addict, right? Because if you're still obsessed with your addiction after you've quit, you're not fully recovered. You're not fully detached from this addiction. Why exactly does it feel like you can't change? Why does it feel like you're stuck in the same position in life that you've been in, even when you were deep in your addiction, right? It may have been 1 to 3 months or even 6 months plus, and you haven't seen many changes or results in your life. And this is because we haven't shifted our mindset from the addicted mindset to the productive mindset. So we have to shift our mindset from that of an addict to that of an athlete or an entrepreneur, or whatever it is you want to pursue in your life, whoever you want to be, right? You have to shift your mindset to being more productive. You have to shift your mindset to being a better version of you, right? A lot of times I will tell you focus on your health right after you quit any addiction. Focus on your health for a period of time. Most addictions impact mental health, so I would focus there. I would definitely be meditating, journaling, reading as much as possible, doing a lot of reflection. Breath work as well is really good. And then physically, you also need to heal and recover. Again, breath work is going to help with that. You need to be eating healthy. You need to be exercising. So I would guide most people towards focusing on health. But if you're the type of person who's a high achiever, but you just had this addiction holding you back, then what you want to do is you want to shift your attention over to more productivity as quickly as possible, right? And keep your focus there. Keep your focus on grinding, on actually achieving the goals that you have in your business or achieving the goals you have in your sport, and dedicate your lifestyle to that. And it'll make it a lot easier to not only forget about the addiction, but you'll transform yourself. You'll transform your identity. You'll transform your lifestyle and your habits in such a way that it's actually going to become easier to then fully let go of the addiction psychologically. So how to heal your brain from addiction? The first step here is to embrace boredom. The main thing that you want to focus on is learning to embrace the boredom. There are now going to be blocks of time in your day that used to be taken up by whatever addicted habit you had that are now not going to be taken up by that habit. So you have to figure out what you're going to do in place of that. And if you have nothing to immediately replace the addiction or the old habit, well, then you're probably going to be pretty bored for a good majority of your time. Learn to embrace boredom, learn to not avoid boredom, because what's going to happen is, let's say you quit weed or porn and you get bored at some point in time, you're going to end up scrolling instead, right? And if you succumb to that boredom, you're going to end up falling into other addictions. So you want to embrace the boredom. You want to find peace within the boredom. You want to find peace within doing nothing, right? Being fully present with yourself, being satisfied in this present moment. And within that boredom, you can then identify what it is you really want to do with your life, what you want to do with your time, what you want to do with all this energy that you have, right? And then that's where we will lead into our next step. You got to find a purpose or just something to focus your energy on, right? So it doesn't have to be your biggest purpose in life, but just something that you can put your energy into that's going to be productive, that's going to result in something positive. Spend some time really thinking about and identifying what might be a purpose of yours, what might be something you've wanted to accomplish or achieve in your life, and what that's going to require as far as action and as far as daily habits goes. And then you can put your energy and focus your energy into these things instead of being focused on and held back by the addiction or having quit the addiction and still kind of being stuck in the addicted mindset. The next thing is to start reading. Everybody should start reading, I think, and if you've just quit a previous addiction, especially a lot of these addictions are things that you just do at night when you're lounging, relaxing, or reading, or, well, when I would normally be reading, but when you're relaxing and getting ready for bed, I like to read, and I think that everybody who has an addiction a lot of times will fall into the addiction at this point in time. Either people scrolling right before bed, or you watch porn right before bed, you smoke weed as your day starts to kind of dwindle down, and you kind of start to relax more, you may smoke weed at that time. So reading is a good habit to replace those things, right? Reading is a good habit to do at night when you're relaxing, when you're just trying to get ready for bed. Reading is going to be a great habit for you to replace the old addiction. Just give you something to occupy your mind's energy. And plus, reading can help you to learn more about your addiction. If you're reading the right books, you can learn more about your mind, you can learn more about your health, all of which will help you to make this process of recovery easier. Last thing I have here is to practice mindfulness, right? You should absolutely be focusing on a practice of mindfulness, whether that's walking, whether that is actual meditation, right? Being more mindful and present within your daily tasks. All of this is going to help you to get out of the stuck, addicted mindset, get out of the thoughts and the cravings, and actually just focus your attention onto this moment, onto the things you are actually trying to put your energy towards, onto the things that will help you to heal and recover, as well as mindfulness will help you to learn more about yourself. And when you are more mindful and more present, you are less likely to fall into addiction. So this is a mindset I think that you should carry with you, whether you're quitting addiction or regardless. But you need to understand that your brain is not the problem. Your inputs are. So everything happening in your mind as a result of having quit your addiction isn't necessarily the problem. The inputs that caused you to get to this point are the problem. Your brain is doing its job in trying to recover and heal and just keep things stable, right? It's trying to keep you in homeostasis. So when you become addicted to something and you keep doing this thing over a long period of time, well, what happens is your brain gets a little bit dysregulated, right? Or a lot dysregulated. And this painful feeling, this discomfort, this inability to focus, this brain fog, this craving for the addiction is actually just your brain's response to having been addicted in the first place. It's your brain trying to heal and recover and bring you back to a state of homeostasis. So your brain isn't the problem, right? You're not trying to fix your brain. You just need to change the inputs so that your brain can stabilize, so that your brain can actually stay healthy and in an optimal state of focus and high energy. So your brain isn't actually the problem, right? You aren't fighting with your brain. Your inputs are a problem. And you're expecting your brain to work to its highest capacity and function to the best of its ability while your inputs are trash. So you need to change the inputs, right? You need to be meditating. You need to be eating right. You need to be exercising. You need to be working on something purposeful, on a business that's actually going to bring you towards real happiness and real fulfillment in your life, right? A business that's aligned with your purpose. So once you have the right inputs, then your brain will be healthy, it'll be stable, it'll work for you. But if your brain is working against you, it's because you're putting in the wrong inputs. And so for those recovering from addiction, you got to remember, what are the inputs that you're giving your brain in order to either help it be healthy and stable or the opposite? So that is all I have for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, you can go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below anything you may have learned or any summaries of the video. I always like being able to read what value you guys are extracting from these videos. So if you did manage to take some value away, go ahead and comment and just summarize what you gained from the video individually or in particular. If you guys do want to work with me one-on-one, my Instagram will be linked in the description. You can just send me a DM over there. And other than that, that is all from me, and I'm out of here. Peace.